Voice paralanguage. What is voice paralanguage? Consists of vocal tone, speed, pitch, volume, number and length of pauses and disfluencies like ah and etc. Okay, what are the paralanguage? Paralanguage is non-verbal elements of our language. Paralinguists refer to vocal communication that is separate from actual language. How? This includes factors such as tone of voice, loudness, inflection, and pitch. Consider the powerful effect that tone of voice can have on the meaning of a sentence. So, the meaning of the sentence is depends upon how the sentence is articulated. What was the pitch, either the high or the low? When said in a strong tone of voice, listening might interpret approval and enthusiasm. The same word said in a hesitant tone of voice might convey disapproval and a lack of interest. So, if you told your friend, let's have party, let's go to the canteen, and your friend is eagerly ready, it means eagerly ready, or that person is showing with his actions without using a word, like he's starting to pack his bag to go with you to the canteen. And if the person is hesitant, no, let's hesitant on it, there is hesitation on his face, you are asking to go to the canteen and that person starts doing something else, it means that person is not ready to go with you. So it is showing disapproval and lack of interest. Consider all the different ways simply changing your tone of voice might change the meaning of a sentence. How? A friend might ask you how you are doing, and you might respond with the standard I am fine. But how you actually say those words might reveal a tremendous amount of how you are really feeling. What does it mean? If you are not feeling and your friend is asking you, and anyone is asking you who is familiar with you, that person will be able to judge you by your moods, by your mood swings, and he will clearly tell you, or he will clearly indicate that you are in some sort of confusion. Paralanguage tends to be more powerful than language, affects how others perceives us. It is a study how others perceives us. Influenced by culture, gender, class, intentionally or unintentionally. Okay, the next one is body language and posture. Posture and movement can also convey a great deal of information. Research on body language has grown significantly since the 1970s, but popular media have focused on the over-interpretation of defensive postures, arm crossing and leg crossing, especially after publishing Julius Fast's book Body Language. So you can observe in the 4 pictures that how a person is feeling. Let's start from the left side, that the person is relaxing on chair. It seems that he might be tired, or he is just free after the work. The man in the second picture showing that he is observing something of his subordinate or anything else. The man in the third picture shows that he is waiting for someone. And what about the fourth picture? We can observe that that person is in some sort of confusion. So these are the body language and postures that tell us about the person. While these non-verbal behaviors can indicate feelings and attitudes, research suggests that the body language is far more subtle and less definitive than previously believed. Okay, the next one is proxemics. What is proxemics now? Again, the same name for non-verbal communication. So what are these? Let's discuss. People often refer to their need for personal space, which is also an important type of non-verbal communication. The personal space is also a important part of non-verbal communication. The amount of distance we need and the amount of space we perceive as belonging to us is influenced by a number of factors, including social norms, cultural expectations, situational factors, personality characteristics, and level of familiarity. So we can take the example of student and teacher here. If a teacher is teaching you in class, you will be having a distance from your teacher. You people will be sitting on your chairs, and the teacher is standing in front of you. While if teacher and students are going to have a party, they will be like, according to the social norm, they will be behaving like friends. For example, the amount of personal space needed when having a casual conversation with other person usually varies between 80 inches to 4 feet. So if we are talking to other person, we need this much space, 18 inches to 4 feet. On the other hand, the personal distance needed when speaking to a crowd of people is around 10 to 12 feet, like in your class. Your teacher is an example of it, who stands 10 to 12 feet away from you. Okay, space proxemics, personal space. See the green dot, you are here, and the next one is blue one. There are intimate distance, where your friends and family may stand over there. Then there is personal distance. Personal distance, it can be from we can say student and teacher distance. Personal distance can be the example of teacher and student can be the example of personal distance. Then there is social distance. How do we behave with the society? Social distance and public distance, again the distance is increasing with the space.